Do you ever feel like something inside you is holding you back, like an invisible hand is stopping you from becoming the person you were meant to be? That hesitation, that voice of doubt, that weakness you try to ignore, it's not just in your mind, it's a threat to your entire future. The moment you let your weak feelings dictate your actions, you are signing a contract with mediocrity, with a life smaller than what you were designed to achieve. Right now, there's a choice in front of you. You can continue letting fear, self-doubt, laziness, and excuses run your life, or you can confront them head on and destroy them before they destroy you. The people who succeed are not the ones who feel no fear. They're the ones who stare it straight in the eye, who wrestle with their weaknesses, and refuse to let them win. Every weak feeling ignored, every excuse unchallenged, every small act of self-sabotage is like planting a seed for your future regrets. Imagine sitting 10 years from now, looking back at a life that could have been extraordinary, only to realize that your own inaction was the greatest obstacle. That's the power of weak feelings. They quietly, insidiously kill your potential. But here's the truth. Your feelings don't control you unless you let them. Strength is not the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of it. You can feel fear and doubt, but you refuse to obey them. You can feel pain and disappointment, but you refuse to let them define you. The moment you decide to challenge every weak feeling, to interrogate it, to say, "Not today," is the moment your future begins to expand. Think about the people you admire, the leaders, the innovators, the creators, the athletes who inspire you. Every one of them has faced weakness, uncertainty, and fear. What separated them from the rest wasn't luck, it was discipline. Discipline over emotion, courage over comfort, action over hesitation. Your weak feelings are not a sign that you are broken. They are a signal that you are alive, that you have something worth fighting for. But the fight will not wait. The longer you delay, the stronger they grow. Kill them now. Kill them before they kill your future. You know that voice inside your head that whispers, "I can't do this," or maybe it's too late. That voice is not a friend, it's a parasite. Every time you listen, it weakens you, chips away at your confidence, and drags your future further from your reach. Most people spend their entire lives negotiating with that voice, thinking if they ignore it, it will go away. But it doesn't. It grows stronger, more convincing, more dangerous. Every weak feeling you feed becomes a chain around your potential. The question is simple: are you going to let it chain you, or are you going to break it? You have to understand something essential. Feelings are not facts. Just because you feel scared, uncertain, or inadequate does not mean you are incapable. Just because you feel overwhelmed does not mean you are doomed to fail. Those feelings are a test. They are the universe's way of asking, how badly do you want it? The people who crush their future with weak feelings are not weaker than you. They are simply unwilling to fight the internal battle that separates ordinary from extraordinary. You might be thinking, but it's too hard. I don't have the energy. That's exactly what they want you to believe. Weak feelings are sneaky. They arrive disguised as logic, as protection, as reason. But it's a lie. Every story of greatness begins with a struggle against the voice inside that says, "Stay small. Stay safe." Let me tell you something: the same discomfort you fear is exactly where your growth hides. Every time you confront a weak feeling, every time you refuse to obey that inner hesitation, you are building a muscle of courage, resilience, and relentless determination. It's not easy, it's not supposed to be. But the reward is unmatched. A life shaped by your choices, not your fears. So the next time doubt rises, when anxiety grips your chest, when hesitation whispers, remember, you are stronger than your feelings. They are temporary, but your actions define your future. You have a choice to surrender to weakness or dominate it. Every small victory over fear is a step toward a future most people only dream about. And the only way to make that dream real is to fight the weak feelings now today, relentlessly, until they have no power over you. Your future deserves that fight. Do not negotiate. Do not rationalize. Kill them before they kill the life you are meant to live. Think about the last time you let a weak feeling control your choice. Maybe you avoided a conversation, postponed a project, or didn't speak up when it mattered. At the moment, it felt small, insignificant, but in reality, it was a turning point. Every weak feeling you indulge is a seed that grows into a mountain of regret. And here's the hard truth: your future is being written today, not tomorrow. Every excuse you tell yourself, every moment of hesitation, is a story your future self will remember, and not with gratitude. Weak feelings are like termites eating away at the foundation of your potential. You might not see the damage immediately, but over time it becomes undeniable. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't isn't talent, luck, or intelligence. It's the willingness to dominate their own weaknesses. Here's the paradox: the stronger the weak feeling, the more valuable the victory over it. Fear, doubt, laziness, procrastination, they are not your enemies. They are your raw materials. Every time you confront them, you are forging strength. And the process is simple but brutal. Feel the weakness, acknowledge it, then act in spite of it. That's how champions are made. The act of fighting your weak feelings rewires your mind. It changes the way you respond to adversity. Small victories accumulate into unshakable confidence. Imagine the person you could be if every single day you refused to obey that voice of doubt. Imagine the life you could live if hesitation was no longer part of your vocabulary. It's not just about career success, money, or recognition. It's about integrity with yourself. Every weak feeling you conquer is a promise to yourself that you are capable, that you refuse to settle, that your future is worth fighting for. Start small, wake up and do what you know is hard. Speak your truth, even when it scares you. Push yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Feel the discomfort and move forward anyway. Each time you do, the weak feelings shrink and your courage grows. Soon you'll notice a shift. Challenges that once paralyzed you become opportunities. The internal battle becomes your source of power. This is not motivation, it's mastery. And mastery is not a gift, it is a choice to refuse weakness, to refuse compromise, to refuse a life smaller than what you deserve. Kill your weak feelings today, not tomorrow, because tomorrow they will only be stronger, louder, more convincing, and more destructive. Take control now, or be controlled forever. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to make excuses when no one is watching? That's where weak feelings thrive, in the silence, in the corners of your mind, in the moments when no one can see your hesitation. Weak feelings are cowardly. They only grow when you feed them with an action. And the scary truth, life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Every moment you indulge your weak feelings, opportunities pass by, invisible to you at the time but impossible to reclaim later. Success, growth, fulfillment, they are not handed to the timid. They are claimed by those who stare fear in the face, by those who refuse to let their emotions dictate their actions. You see, the people who achieve extraordinary things are not extraordinary because they are fearless. They are extraordinary because they act despite fear. They feel the doubt, the anxiety, the uncertainty, and then they move anyway. Weak feelings exist to test you, to see if your desire to succeed is stronger than your desire to stay comfortable. Comfort is a trap. It feels safe, but it kills potential slowly, silently, relentlessly. Every small decision to obey weakness accumulates into a life of mediocrity. Every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you are planting seeds of regret. And one day, you wake up and realize that tomorrow never came. But here's the thing, your weakness has no power unless you grant it authority. You can feel fear, hesitation, or doubt, but you do not have to obey. Mastery begins with awareness. Recognize your weak feelings, call them out, challenge them, and then act. Action is the antidote to weakness. Every small act of courage, every moment you push yourself beyond what feels comfortable, dismantles the power of your weak feelings. Soon, hesitation loses its grip and fear becomes a signal, not a stop sign. And here's the reward: confidence. Not the shallow confidence of ego, but the deep, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you are capable of facing yourself, facing your weaknesses, and winning. It transforms how you approach relationships, opportunities, challenges, and life itself. You begin to live with intention, not reaction. So ask yourself, are you going to let weak feelings write your story, or are you going to grab the pen and take control? Kill them now, because every moment you wait, they grow stronger. Every moment you hesitate, they tighten their grip on your future. Confront them, destroy them, and step into a life defined not by fear, but by courage. The future is waiting, but it will not wait forever.
Let me ask you something. How many times have you let a weak feeling convince you that you weren't ready, that the timing wasn't right, or that you weren't capable? That little voice doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your potential. It only cares about keeping you small, safe, and comfortable. And comfort is the silent killer of futures. The difference between people who achieve greatness and those who don't is not luck, not talent. It's the willingness to act despite weakness, to move forward even when every part of you screams to stop. Here's what you must understand: weak feelings are temporary. They are fleeting moments that pass. But the decisions you make in their presence, they are permanent. Every time you obey weakness, you pay the price later. Every time you fight it, you earn a future where fear and doubt no longer control you. Think about it. When someone accomplishes something extraordinary, they weren't waiting for their weak feelings to disappear. They were feeling fear, uncertainty, anxiety, and still they acted. Action is the ultimate weapon against weakness. It's simple, brutal, and effective. You act even when it hurts, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels impossible. Each small victory over your weak feelings builds momentum. Each time you push through hesitation, you create a new standard for yourself, a standard of courage, resilience, and relentless discipline. Soon, fear stops being a stop sign and becomes a guide showing you exactly where growth lies. And here's another truth: your weak feelings are strongest in moments of indecision. That's when they whisper the loudest, when your mind tries to justify inaction, when procrastination disguises itself as strategy. But clarity comes from action. The act of moving forward, no matter how small, breaks the power of weakness. Start today. Do one thing that scares you, one thing that challenges you, one thing that your weak feelings are begging you to avoid. Do it relentlessly. The world doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. Your future self will thank you for the battles you win today. Every weak feeling you kill now, every act of courage, is a deposit into the account of the life you deserve. Your potential is limitless, but only if you refuse to let weakness win. The question is simple: will you surrender or will you fight? Kill your weak feelings before they kill your future, and step into a life that most people only dream about. Have you ever watched someone achieve something incredible and thought, they must be special? They must have had it easy. The truth is, every single person whose greatness has faced the same weak feelings you feel right now. They have faced doubt, fear, hesitation, and the temptation to quit. What separated them from everyone else was not luck. It was their refusal to let weakness control them. Weak feelings are sneaky. They disguise themselves as reason, as protection, as comfort, but they are lies. Every moment you indulge them, they grow stronger. They whisper, "Not today. You'll fail. You're not ready." And if you listen, they will rob you of your potential. Here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to fight your internal battle for you. If you want the life you dream of, you must fight for it yourself. And that starts by confronting your weak feelings head on. The moment you acknowledge them is the moment you take back control. Every time you act in spite of fear, hesitation, or doubt, you are building a foundation of unshakable strength. Weak feelings lose power only when you refuse to obey them. And here's the paradox: the stronger the weakness, the greater the growth on the other side. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you do what feels hard, you are rewriting your story. You are telling yourself and the world that you are not defined by weakness, but by courage, resilience, and determination. The path will not be easy. Weak feelings will scream louder, try harder to stop you, and tempt you to quit. That's when your character is forged. That's when your future is determined. Ordinary people retreat. Extraordinary people push forward. They feel the fear, the doubt, and the hesitation, and they do it anyway. That's why action is everything. Action turns weakness into momentum, hesitation into clarity, fear into courage. You cannot think your way out of weakness. You must move. Start small. Do something today that your weak feelings are resisting. Speak your truth. Take the risk. Push your limits. Each victory, no matter how small, weakens the power of doubt. And over time, you will become unstoppable. Your weak feelings are temporary, but the life you build from conquering them lasts forever. So ask yourself, will you surrender to weakness, or will you fight for your future with every ounce of strength you have? Kill your weak feelings before they kill your potential, because the life you dream of is waiting for no one. Imagine for a moment that every weak feeling you've ever had was a signpost, a warning from your future self. Each doubt, each hesitation, each whisper of fear was your potential knocking, telling you, "This is important. Do not ignore me." Yet most people turn away. They dismiss the feelings, avoid the discomfort, and convince themselves it's easier to wait. But waiting is a trap. The longer you listen to weakness, the louder it gets, and the more control it gains over your life. Every moment you hesitate, every small act of self-sabotage, builds a wall between you and the future you deserve. But here's the truth: weakness only has power if you grant it authority. It thrives on inaction, but it dies when challenged. You must act even when it hurts, even when it's uncomfortable, even when your mind screams that you cannot. That is where real growth begins. Think about the people you admire most. The innovators, the leaders, the creators, the athletes. Their secret isn't talent. It's relentless discipline. They feel fear and doubt just like you do, but they refuse to obey it. Every weak feeling is an opportunity in disguise. It's a challenge to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. When you act despite weakness, you are not only moving forward, you are building a habit, a pattern, a foundation for a future that no weak feeling can shake. And the incredible thing is, each act of courage compounds. One victory leads to another. One decision to act despite fear sets the tone for the next. Soon, hesitation becomes rare. Doubt becomes temporary. Fear becomes fuel. And what you once thought was impossible becomes inevitable. The process is simple yet brutal. Feel the weakness, acknowledge it, then act anyway. No excuses, no procrastination, no compromise. Weak feelings cannot survive consistent, deliberate action. And here's the ultimate reward: freedom. Freedom from self-doubt, from hesitation, from the invisible chains that have held you back for so long. Freedom to create, to achieve, to live a life defined not by fear, but by courage. So ask yourself right now, will you let weakness write your story, or will you take control and write it yourself? Kill your weak feelings before they kill your future, because the life you dream about is waiting for someone brave enough to claim it, and that someone is you. Here's a truth most people never realize: weak feelings are not the enemy, they are signals. They tell you where growth lies, where courage is required, and where your future depends on your actions. The problem is most people ignore the signal. They shrink, they retreat, they settle. And while they do, the world moves forward and opportunities pass by unseen, unclaimed. But you can see it. You can recognize the signal. You can act. That's what separates ordinary from extraordinary. Weak feelings are the starting line of every victory. They mark the moment where action defines character, where courage defines destiny. Think about it. When you feel hesitation, doubt, or fear, that is exactly when you must move. Not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient. Now, the act of pushing through what terrifies you is what builds momentum. Every weak feeling you overcome makes the next one easier. Every victory over doubt, over anxiety, over hesitation compounds. Soon, the impossible becomes achievable. And here's the beauty: you don't need to eliminate fear or weakness. You only need to master it. Feel it, acknowledge it, and then act in spite of it. That is power. That is control. That is freedom. The people you admire most didn't wait until their feelings were perfect. They felt fear, insecurity, and doubt constantly. They weren't born fearless. They became unstoppable because they refused to let weakness dictate their future. Here's how you do it. Start small. Pick one weak feeling you've been avoiding. Face it. Confront it. Take deliberate action. Do this repeatedly daily and watch the pattern emerge. Weakness loses power only when met with consistent action. And then escalate. Every time you feel hesitation, act anyway. Every time doubt whispers, respond with courage. Every time fear rises, rise higher. Each act is a brick, building a fortress around your potential. Weak feelings are trying to destroy your future. But every time you fight back, you reclaim more of your life. Eventually, you'll notice something incredible. The weak feelings no longer control you. You control them. They shrink in comparison to your courage, your discipline, and your unrelenting determination. And once that happens, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Your future will no longer be dictated by weakness, but by strength, by action, by the choices you make in the face of fear. So do not wait. Do not hesitate. Kill your weak feelings before they kill your future, because every moment you delay, you risk losing more than you realize. The time to fight is now, and the life you were meant to live is waiting for your courage. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to make small compromises, to let weak feelings win just once, and how quickly that once turns into a habit? That's the danger. Weak feelings are contagious. They spread silently, convincing you that giving up a little today is harmless, that avoiding discomfort is reasonable. But those small choices compound. Every time you surrender, every time you let hesitation dictate your actions, you are building a life defined by limitation, regret, and what-ifs. And the worst part, it feels normal. You convince yourself that it's natural to feel weak, that everyone struggles, that it's okay to wait. But it's not okay. Every weak feeling you obey is a brick in the wall that separates you from your potential. Here's the secret the world doesn't tell you: you are capable of more than you imagine. Every weak feeling is a test, a challenge, a doorway to a stronger version of yourself. And the only way to grow is to step through that door. Feel the fear, the hesitation, the doubt, but act anyway. That is the difference between ordinary lives and extraordinary ones. Start noticing your patterns. Where do your weak feelings appear most? In your work, in your relationships, in your health. Identify them, confront them, and attack them relentlessly. Each act of courage is a message to your mind, a declaration that you will not be ruled by weakness. The beauty of this is that it compounds. Each victory over doubt makes the next easier. Each moment of discipline strengthens your resilience. And one day, you look back and realize something incredible. The weak feelings that once controlled you no longer have any power. You are in charge. You have mastered your mind, your emotions, and your actions. You have killed the weakness before it could kill your future. And that mastery extends beyond success. It shapes who you are, how you live, and the legacy you leave. The life you dream of is not a distant fantasy. It is waiting for you to fight for it. The only question is, will you fight, or will you allow weak feelings to steal it from you? There is no middle ground. There is no waiting. Weak feelings will grow if you do nothing. They will convince you that giving up is safe. But the cost of surrender is too high. Kill your weak feelings today. Confront them, challenge them, dominate them, and step into the life you were meant to live without hesitation, without compromise, without fear. Now, it all comes down to this moment, the one you are living right now. Everything you have felt, every weak feeling you have battled, every hesitation, every doubt, every moment you allowed fear to whisper, stop. It all leads to this decision. Your future is being written not by chance, but by choice. Weak feelings will always exist. They will come back. They will try to convince you that giving up is safe, that waiting is smarter, that you aren't ready. But here is the truth you must never forget: they have no power unless you give it to them. You are stronger than your fear, smarter than your doubt, braver than your hesitation. The person you want to become is already inside you. The only thing standing in the way is your choice to act, to fight, to refuse, to obey weakness. Every single second you spend negotiating with doubt, every moment you let hesitation control your actions, is a second stolen from your potential. And the cost is higher than you can imagine. Missed opportunities, unrealized dreams, a life smaller than you are capable of living. But the good news is simple: mastery is within reach. Mastery begins the moment you decide to act despite fear, despite weakness, despite the voice that tells you to quit. You act anyway. You feel the discomfort, the hesitation, the anxiety, and you do it anyway. And every single time you do, you grow stronger. You build a future that no weak feeling can shake. Courage compounds, confidence compounds, strength compounds, and one day you will look back and see the life you always wanted, built not on luck, not on comfort, not on waiting, but on relentless action in the face of weakness. That is the secret the world doesn't teach. The world will tell you to wait, to play it safe, to follow the easiest path. But greatness is never safe. Growth is never comfortable. The life you dream of requires a price, and that price is the refusal to surrender to weak feelings. So fight. Fight with every ounce of energy you have. Kill every weak feeling before it kills your future. Stand up when you want to sit. Speak out when you want to stay silent. Act when you want to wait. Every choice is a declaration. Your future belongs to you, not to fear. This is your time. This is your fight. Kill your weak feelings. Take control and step into the life you were born to live. Undaunted, unshakable, unstoppable. Your future is waiting.